please call the roll.
Mike Carruthers, Joliet Township.
Here.
Scott Lager, Homer Township.
Here.
Kim Mitchell, Shanahan Township. Here. Barbara Peterson, Washington Township is here. Hugh Stippen, Frankfort Township.
Here.
Thomas White, Troy Township.
Here.
Chairman Lund Valone, Manhattan Township.
Here. In your packet, we have the meeting minutes from December 15, 2015. Do we have a motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Madam Secretary, do you have any announcements?
Mr. Chairman, variance cases will be heard to a conclusion by this commission this evening. There are several that will be cases that will be continued. And cases 6281, 6283 are the two cases that will go forward to the Land Use Department. Land Use Committee, I'm very sorry, which is held in this county boardroom on Tuesday, what is it, Tuesday?
January 12th.
January 12th.
Yes, it's great.
10:30, is it?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Thank you.
Okay. This time I'm going to swear everybody in that's planning on giving testimony in mass. So please raise your right hand if you're going to come up here and give testimony tonight, and say I do after I swear you in. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. I do. Please turn off your cell phones at this time. Okay, on our zoning cases for tonight, we have case 6263-S. We've had a request to remove this from the agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion to second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next, we have a request to continue case 6274-B3 to February 2nd, 2016. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next, we have a request to move case 6283-S to February 2nd, 2016. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Let me catch up here a little bit. Okay. First case on the agenda, case 6276-B, Peter Onick, owner of record. We have requested a variance, and Natalie from our staff will open up the case.
Thank you, Chairman Valone, and Happy New Year, Commission members. Zoning case 6276-B takes place in Peatone Township. The applicant is requesting a variance for lot area from 10 acres to 5.02 acres. The purpose of this request is to bring the existing parcel into compliance with the Will County zoning ordinance and to allow for the construction of an attached garage. An aerial map is now displayed. The property is highlighted in red. The subject property is located south of West Joliet Road, just east of Route 45. A zoning map is now displayed. The subject property is zoned A1 and surrounded by A1 zoned property. Northeast of the property across West Joliet Road exists an E2 zone parcel. E1 and C4 exist west of the property across Route 45. Photos of the subject property and general area are now displayed. The property contains a single-family residence and accessory structures that were once associated with a homestead for a farm. Displayed is the plat of survey submitted by the applicant. The red arrow indicates the location of the proposed attached garage. Staff recommends approval of the requested variance. That concludes staff's analysis.
Are there any questions of staff at this time? Thank you. Are there any objectors to this case or concerned citizens? Is the applicant here tonight? Do any of the commissioners have any questions to ask of the applicant? Do you have anything to add? You don't have to come down here if you don't want to. Okay. On On case 6276-V, I'd like to ask a motion for the requested variance.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to case number 6276-V, I'd like to make a motion for approval of a variance for lot area from 10 acres to 5.02 acres.
Second. We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. I do believe we have some paperwork for you, so.
Normally, we give you a copy of the variance approval. However, you will receive it in the mail, all right?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next case on the agenda, case 6281-MV2. Applicant is the owner of record, Thomas Rozanski, Christine Manaser. And we have a request for a map amendment. We have a request for 2 variances. Natalie from our staff will open up this case.
Thank you, Chairman Balone. Zoning case 6281-MV2 takes place in Homer Township. The applicant is requesting a map amendment from A1 to E2 on parcel 2, a variance for side yard setback from 50 feet to 13.4 feet on parcel 1, and a variance for side yard setback from 50 feet to 32.2 feet on parcel 1 as well. The purpose of this request is to subdivide a 2.7 acre parcel in order to construct a home on family-owned property. The applicant's requests are required for approval of a minor subdivision. An aerial map is displayed. The subject property as it currently exists is outlined in red. The property is located north of 151st Street and east of Gowder Road. This corridor of 151st Street is rural residential in character, containing large homesteads as well as smaller single-family residential lots. Displayed is the plat of survey submitted by the applicant, which includes the proposed minor subdivision. The subject property is located north of 151st Street as stated prior. The area in green is parcel 1. The area in yellow is parcel 2. The applicant is requesting a map amendment from A1 to E2 on parcel 2. The structures highlighted in red are those that require variances on parcel 1 with the newly created lot lines. A zoning map is now displayed. Parcel 1 and parcel 2 are outlined in red. The subject property is zoned A1 and abuts A1, A2, and R2 zoning districts. The village of Homer Glen is to the north and south of the property. Residential subdivisions exist to the west and south. Larger single-family residential lots exist to the east. Photos of the subject property and general area are now displayed. The property contains a single-family residence as well as accessory structures. Staff recommends approval of the requested map amendment and variances based on the review criteria of the Bull County zoning ordinance. That concludes staff's analysis.
Is there any questions to staff? No, I have one. Can you go back to the site plan? Right there. The lot is getting 180 feet by 654.21 feet. It looks as though, as you look at that parcel to the left, there's a sliver of land between that and the part that is cut out there. How wide is that?
I'm not positive. It is, in conversations with the applicant, it is their intent to correct that flag lot in the future and further subdivide that parcel amongst family members. So in conversations for long-range planning of this site, this was the most logical split for now.
Wait a minute. I guess my question is, by subdividing it this way, we're looking at possibly creating the flag lot in the future?
No, correcting that flag lot. So the family intends to add land to that flag lot so that it creates a similar shaped lot as what they're creating right now, if that makes sense. So it would be another square piece like this.
Is that on the left side of that plat of survey? Is that a street there?
No, it is not.
Okay. I don't understand when you say they're going to correct it, because if we have a sliver of land, to me that's going to be allowing a flag lot possibly in the future. How would that correct it?
They're going to add land to that flag lot that exists in white from this green parcel. So there'll be another lot here. It'll just be one lot.
Yeah, the white is a house, an existing
Yeah,
home.
so if we go to the,
Is what it is.
if we go, see there's a home right now and this is a flag lot. This is a subdivision next door.
Mr. Chairman, that flag lot is an exception, it's not included in the zoning case. The part zoning,
You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that could allow for a flag lot be to the north of there, if we've got a sliver of land there down the road.
talking about the little green slivers. Okay. That part of the property is part of the remainder, which is the larger parcel. And the remainder, as it exists on this proposed plat, is complying with the A-run requirements for frontage and lot width and area.
I understand that this lot is compliant, but what I'm saying is by putting that lot in that position is possibly creating a flag lot in the future that could be subdivided at larger parcel.
I don't know that our ordinance would allow for that.
No. Any future division of the property will have to be compliant with the zoning ordinance. So if there is any proposed division in the future, they'd have to come back for additional zoning if it isn't compliant.
Okay. But I'm just saying, it seems like it's setting it up to be a flag lot, the way that it's subdivided. And if you're saying that we probably would not approve it, it could come before us for a request for approval, would it not?
I mean, there would be a request, and the request would be in the affirmative. I don't know what the commission's decision would be, but given the history of what the applicants are proposing to do, this was the best configuration to achieve the desired outcome for the division of the state.
Okay. Rather than what you're saying is, if you move that over to the lot towards the white area, it would be 3 lots instead of 2?
That's correct. Then the remainder up front would require additional zoning action, possibly to a different zoning district as well.
Okay.
I think what he's asking is whether it's a 20-foot private road or whether it's a 60-foot road that can be used as a road for all of it.
That's why I asked, how wide is that? Is that 10 feet? Is that 20 feet? I mean, if it's 20 feet, someone down the road in 15 years are going to say, hey, listen, we got 20 feet there. Why can't we have we're requesting a variance to have a flag lot there. But even though you don't allow it, we're allowed to ask for it. That's my point.
Understood.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Are there any concerned citizens or objectors to this case? Is the applicant here tonight?
Yes.
If you would like to come down, you're more than welcome to respond. If you don't want to, then that's fine also, but.
That's good, because maybe they can answer your question.
It just looks to me like it's setting it up for it. That's why. I mean, I know we don't like them, but they can always ask for it, can't they? Yeah.
Pardon me?
How is it already a flag lot? There's 2 houses on this property. Well, the green and the yellow are all in lot right now. We're creating the yellow lot. I understand it all. Did you understand what my question was?
Yes.
How wide is that strip of land there?
Their name.
Could you please state your name for the records?
Mark Manmoser, and it's about 10, 12 feet, somewhere in there.
Okay.
That's the
I understand
the
you
strip there.
only have to do 2 lots.
Right. And the reason why this strip was left there is obviously to have access to the front portion of the green area there.
Okay.
Because we couldn't butt straight up to it, because then that would have then made a different zoning for that one
Is
little
that being
portion.
done right now?
The front area there is mostly just a barn area with grass for,
Oh, is that an access from the barn back to the
Yes.
back lot?
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's all. Do you have anything to add?
No, other than this is just my family's property here. We have built up several houses on the property with other relatives in the past, and
Sure.
we would like to just continue the tradition
Sure.
and build a house for ourselves with our
I'm not
family.
trying to give you a hard time. When there's 20 feet there, then we've seen it
Yeah.
up in the county where, hey, 10 years from now, somebody comes in and say, hey, we got this 20-foot, and we got to get
No.
back that back lot, we're subdividing it.
No, that's just left for access to try and get from farm vehicles, tractors, whatever, back to the
Okay, thank you.
back lots. So,
On case,
Thank you.
thank you. On case 6281-MV2, I'd like to entertain a motion for the map amendment.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to case number 6281-MB2, I would move for approval of a map amendment from A1 to E2 on parcel 2.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next, we have a request for variance.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to the same case number, I would move for approval of a variance for side yard setback from 50 feet to 13.4 feet for a 30 by 60 metal barn on parcel number 1.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Next, we have a request for a second variance.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to the same case number, I would move for approval of a variance for side yard setback from 50 feet to 32.2 feet for a 14-foot by 38-foot frame barn on parcel number 1.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. You'll mail them the variances?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that concludes our cases for tonight. Does the staff have any announcements?
Please sign.
Excuse me. Excuse me, Chairman. For the case 6283, we just looked on the website and it has been published. So if we could hear that case tonight, and
The applicants here tonight?
they are here tonight. The paperwork as far as the actual payment, they will go tomorrow to the newspaper, and we do have it online that it has been published.
Okay, yeah, do we have to, we already motioned to move that to February. We have to motion to hear it? Yes. Yes, we've already motioned.
Thank you.
Okay. Case 6283-S, I'd like to entertain a motion to hear the case tonight.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. We will hear 6283. You're opposed to hearing it? We have, all right. We have one opposed, but we'll still hear you. Okay, Natalie, from our staff, will open this case.
Thank you, Chairman Malone. Zoning case 6283-S takes place in Frankfort Township. The applicant is requesting a special use permit for landscape and lawn maintenance business in the A1 zoning district. The purpose of this request is to operate a landscaping business on the property. An aerial map is now displayed. The subject property is outlined in red. The property is located north of 187th Street within the southeast corner of the I-80 and LaGrange Road interchange. The property is located in an area which includes a mix of uses, both commercial and residential. A zoning map is now displayed. The subject property is highlighted in red. The property is zoned A1 and is surrounded by A1 and A2 zoning. The village of Orland Park is north across I-80. The village of Mokena is to the south. Photos of the subject property and general area are now displayed. The property is vacant and is surrounded by various uses, including single-family residences, a church, a cell tower, and a horse riding facility. Staff received correspondence from the Health Department in the village of Mokena. The Will County Health Department has stated that a soil evaluation has taken place on the subject property, and the septic field will be sized accordingly. The village of Mokena sent a letter of objection on December 31st. This letter was provided to you in a memo. The village has stated the requested special use does not comply with long-range plans of the village for the area. Further details can be found in the memo provided to you on January 4th. Staff recommends approval of the requested special use permit for a landscape and lawn maintenance business based on the review criteria of the Will County zoning ordinance. That concludes staff's analysis.
Okay. Are there any questions to staff?
There's a bunch of hangers on that too, correct? Like 8 conditions attached to that?
There's conditions as
They're
well.
still attached?
I've got it.
Okay. Are there any objectors or concerned citizens? I just want to poll the audience for this case. Okay, is the applicant here tonight?
Yes, the applicant's here. I'm John Argadelis, attorney on
Okay,
behalf
would you like
of
to come down?
Sure.
If we could, one at the podium per time, at a time.
Okay, stand behind.
Please state your name for the record.
John Argadelis on behalf of the applicant. We have Pat Flanagan and Scott Flanagan here. I think the package, the staff report was pretty thorough with regard to describing what's going on. I know there was an objection from Mokena. We will note that their comprehensive plan is quite old. I think it dates back to the late 80s. And there really isn't, a lot going on in this area with regard to what Mokena's doing. This fits in very consistently with what's going on right there at this point. And the applicant is in complete agreement with the staff report and the conditions staff has requested. The applicant is here to answer any specific questions about, how the site would look and what they're planning on doing. And they brought some materials if you'd like to hear any of that as well.
Okay. Are there any questions of the applicant?
I have a question, Mr. Arcadelis. Is it true that the applicants are going to Frankfort Township tomorrow to be heard on their zoning committee?
I'm not aware of that. No.
They're listed on as attending that meeting. They're going to be attending that meeting, so that's why I objected. Because they hadn't gone through the Frankfort Township zoning board yet.
Okay, I'm not aware of that. I did inherit this case, so I'm not aware of all the history of the case, but my understanding, based on what I know, is that Mokena was the village closest within their planning area, and the village has sent...
The township.
The township, Old Frankfort Township, yes.
The township covers
yes, it does.
4 villages.
Yeah. I was not aware of that. I will say that because it's for landscaping purposes, we are under a bit of a time constraint. The landscape company needs to get in there by March 1st in order to actually utilize the site as they'd like to. If we can't keep the ball rolling here, there's probably won't be any case to have at that case because the whole deal will probably fall apart. But I guess if there's I don't know if it's proper procedure, but if it would be appropriate, between now and as we go through this process, it would go to Frankfort's board as well, in intervening during this process. That way that township can make its...
Well, we can move forward here tonight because his objection was because the order of meetings, typically that meeting should not, this meeting, that should be held before it comes here, okay?
Yes.
But it doesn't always happen that way. You're still going to have to go through land use committee and the county board. And
yes.
So at that point, we voted to hear it tonight. So at that point, we're going to move forward tonight. So is there anything else you have to say?
I have a question.
Yes, sure.
You said you inherited this case. Rathburn?
Yes, Carl Buck from the Rathburn firm was the original attorney on the case.
Right.
Yeah, they their firm represents Mokena.
Oh.
And because Mokena decided to raise an objection, they had to recuse themselves, so it got referred to me. Yeah.
All of my notification went to the attorney's office, Carl Buck.
Yes, and he's forwarded everything on to me, so.
So what happened at the very beginning, there was no proof of publication. I sent a letter of notification, and in my letter I always say contact the particular publisher. In this case it was the Herald News, and their phone number immediately. So I was a little perturbed about what happened. Now I understand.
Yeah, I don't have your letter, unfortunately, but
That's all right.
I guess the good thing is it was published, so we're properly moving forward tonight, but I will contact the Herald News tomorrow, make sure that bill gets paid as well.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions of the applicants? Natalie, do you have a comment about that? I'm not sure if you did or not, in regards to Mokena, or the Frankfort Township meeting?
Frankfort Township was notified. I did not receive any correspondence from the township regarding their agenda for their meetings.
Okay.
The only correspondence I had was with the Village of Mokena and the Will County Health Department.
Okay.
What date did you contact them? Do you remember? Or
I
what
would have-
date did you
I would
send?
have to look at the file, but they're
Okay.
always contacted the same day that we
Immediately.
contact you.
Right, okay.
I understand they assumed that people were coming to the meeting and didn't realize it was going forward to the county tonight, because they have their meeting tomorrow night for their planning and zoning.
The notification that they receive always states the date of our hearing. So they were aware of when our public hearing would be.
Well-
Mr. Stippen, if I could ask, it is on the agenda for tomorrow night?
Yes.
Okay, we could be at the meeting and answer any questions the Frankfort Township Board would have.
If that's not the township board, it's the township planning and zoning.
Planning and Zoning Commission.
Can I ask you, do you know when this case was applied for? I mean, is this case on the fast track?
No, it goes back to September.
We
So
had a pre-application meeting back in September.
Okay. So they didn't put it on their agenda, or somehow it didn't get to their agenda until January. Okay, anything else to add?
no.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you could be seated now. Okay, on case 6283-S, I'd like to entertain a motion for the requested special use permit.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion for approval, zoning case 6283-S for a special use permit for landscape and lawn maintenance business in the A1 zoning district
We have a motion with the 8 conditions?
with the 8 conditions.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Second. Is there any further discussion? Comment I have is, you know what, I did see that letter from Mokena, and I don't care how old the comprehensive plan is that I was on a village board at one time, and typically those comprehensive plans do cost quite a bit of money, because you have planners involved with it, and that particular corridor there is a continuation of the Tinley Park corridor all the way to Joliet along Interstate 80, and I do see where they're requesting to have that office, and I don't think myself this fits in with what Mokena has in their comprehensive plan, and they are allowed to object because of the 1.5 miles. So I myself, I think I'm going to go with what Mokena has actually requested. So if anybody else has any other comments?
Well, yeah, I do. I thought about this because we did get a letter. However, to be perfectly honest with you, if it is very important, I believe they could send a representative here to talk about the letter, making sure that it's entered into our record. And that's just how I feel. It's easy to type off a letter and say, you know, we object to this, we object to that. But I think that they have to be a little more proactive.
That's fine.
And my thought is, upon considering the letter, that there is a mixed use already in that neighborhood. And there's, not to say that it can't be reconfigured at some time in the future for an office, larger office complex, covering many acres. So I don't have as large a problem with Mokena's position, at the moment.
Okay. Any other comments? Roll call vote, please.
Carruthers.
Yes.
Lager.
Yes.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Peterson votes yes. Stippen.
No.
White.
No.
Chairman Ledbelow.
Did you vote?
Yep,
No.
4-3.
Motion carries. Okay.
Please sign this.
Does the staff have any other thing to add at this time?
Not to take the zoning case, take the idea of having comments.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I could entertain a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?